This is Techpedition, and we're going to talk about some technology stories that have happened in the past week or so, maybe a couple weeks.
Yes.
Let's
do it.
To start off with,
before we get in, I want to ask you, sir, what have you been up to?
Well, we have been kind of MIA lately, but I've had a child. I've changed jobs and I've moved in the span of like 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks.
You are a crazy man, sir.
That was not. I'm not necessarily a logistical genius because that was just a whole lot of stuff to happen at once. But I'm only 6 minutes from my job now, so that's nice.
Which is always a plus. Definitely always a plus.
Definitely, and Amaya's doing great. She's finally sleeping for extended periods of time. So that's wonderful, and I'm actually getting some free time because we've got Sophie going to bed around 9 o'clock. So
life goes, man. Life goes.
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good, man. What about you? You guys have been busy, man.
A little too busy, man. I just did about 3 cons over the last 6 weeks. So we did 2 in Tupelo and one this past weekend in Atlanta, which of course is a Doctor Who convention.
And notice that he's not saying going to cons. He is doing cons. He is actively participating, doing panels and whatnot.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, man, to congregate with like-minded individuals. I find that fun. So yeah, just a ton of fun. And yes, it's the Doctor Who convention, not the Who Dat convention. Somebody asked Kyle that.
Are you serious?
Somebody was working at the hotel. So, is this a Who Dat convention? No. Doctor.
Oh my gosh. In Atlanta?
Yes.
In Atlanta, they were asking if it was a New Orleans Saints convention? Like,
so
that will start a riot or something.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Once you lose a Super Bowl up by 20 and by halftime, there's cause for riot, right?
Well, yeah. Don't let
boo pats.
Don't let this. Don't forget that. Yeah, the Falcons were up 28-3 in the third quarter, the Super Bowl, and the Patriots came back.
I hate Tom Brady. Anyway, we have some tech to talk about, dude.
Yeah. That is the reason we're on here. So yeah. All right. Quite a bit has transpired since we last met.
Yes, indeed, sir.
But to start off with, let's keep it light. So I don't know if you guys have heard of ZTE. They are I would say a B-level phone manufacturer. They make budget phones.
Are they China-based?
I believe they are.
Chinese.
But I'm not 100% sure. Yeah. They're Chinese. So basically, they were taking American phones that were, I guess, meant for America, U.S. phones that they were manufacturing, and they were illegally shipping equipment. And I don't know if it was their phones or if it was just components that they were procuring from American companies like Dolby and Qualcomm. They use their components in their phones to like Iran and North Korea, which we have very, very stiff sanctions against.
Yeah.
Not to get political, but that's part of the story. And apparently they pled guilty to doing this. So it's not like this is alleged. They admitted to it, and in a plea agreement with the U.S., they agreed to reprimand and deny bonuses to all the employees who were involved in this. But in actuality, all they did was they fired 4 of their senior staff, and they gave full bonuses to the employees. And America was not happy about that. They also kept 35 employees who violated the law. So there's that. And needless to say, the United States was a bit pissed. So they banned ZTE phones in America, which effectively probably killing the company.
Yeah, that's pretty major. Now, I'm reading an article. Does this actually hurt American companies that export to ZTE?
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, kind of. They technically didn't ban ZTE phones. They just put sanctions on them. So they ban American companies from shipping components to them. So Dolby and Dolby and Qualcomm, who actually, they're using their phones, the U.S. barred them from shipping components to ZTE, effectively killing their phones. And ZTE is they're on life support right now. I believe they're scrambling to find other companies to actually excuse me. They're scrambling to find companies to to supply their parts for their phones,
which is funny. Being a Chinese-based company, you think they would have all the parts in the world they needed.
Yeah,
but apparently it might be a patent slash. I don't know, because I don't think American companies, unless they're still American companies, but they're manufacturing in China. Maybe it's still prevents them from, which is weird.
Yeah,
which is weird.
It's really weird because Qualcomm, who's a chip designer, they pretty much can't use any of their chips. So now I think they're going to move to. It looks like they're moving to a company called MediaTek. But of course, you can't just flip a switch and snap your fingers and automatically be using another company's chips in your phone. There's R&D and development. They probably have to redesign, refactor components in their phones. So this is really, really going to set them back. But I mean, they may make it out of it. But they are filling a huge void in the American phone or the phone market in general because they're making affordable smartphones. And this is what most people buy. A lot of, it's a little different in the U.S. though, because you do have phone subsidies or what do they call it? Installment agreements with phones.
Yeah, payment plans. Yeah.
Yeah, nobody drops $1,000 on an iPhone at once. At least most people don't. I mean, I'm sure Kanye does, but most people don't do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll see how they make it out of it. I don't really keep up with ZTE. I just thought that was a really interesting story. So there you go.
Yeah, man. Well, moving on to the next story. Facebook is creating a mysterious blockchain division. Facebook is launching its own blockchain division as part of a broader reorganization in its executive lineup. Multiple sources confirmed. Recode today. So I guess 4 months ago, Mark Zuckerberg said that they'd be diving into researching more of how blockchain works and how they could possibly use it in their company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so David Marcus, the guy he's the VP of messaging and products. So he basically oversees the Facebook Messenger, I guess, division. He is moving over to this secret group. This dude's the former CEO of PayPal. So he and a special group of individuals will be researching on how to utilize blockchain for Facebook, which I think is pretty interesting.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
If they can figure out some kind of payment, and like and it's funny because, on a broader scale, like this is the kind of stuff that I've always been a bit worried about with blockchain is because it's all open source. There's no proprietary technology underlying Bitcoin, not really anyway, or Ethereum. Like all this stuff is open, and people have always assumed that these companies would just hop on Ethereum or they would hop on Bitcoin, but there's nothing logically stopping them from creating their own blockchain.
Definitely can happen because, what I think about as I look back to like some of the Microsoft points or some of these games who have their own in-game currencies, but what if they could have something like this? And I mean, like you said, it's all open source. They can basically fork it and make their own version of this. And, with the heft of Facebook, they could pretty much own the market if they do it right. So, I mean, what do you think about companies taking it and using it for themselves?
Well, it's funny because even one of the cryptos that I follow pretty enthusiastically is called Ripple, and they're basically trying to replace SWIFT, which is the international payment processor that most banks use now. And settlement takes a really long time with SWIFT. So if you were going to transfer money from Japan to America, you would use SWIFT, and there's all these checks and balances, all this red tape, and it takes like hours or even days to get a settlement across borders, and Ripple basically does it instantly. And their strategy is get regulated, get in there, and like, you know, so have something established so like all these banks will just hop on it. But it's one of those things. This is sort of the same thing where people are like, wait a minute, why can't I just hire some smart people and make my own, and that way I don't have to pay you anything, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that about blockchain. It would be like if when email came out, if Hotmail or whatever was popular when email came out, if they were like, do email, you know, through us. We're gonna be everybody's email. Like, and now that just sounds absurd, but you know, back in the day there was only like 3 or 4 major email companies, at least to start. And I see this kind of in the same way where people will start their own blockchain servers. You know, Facebook doesn't necessarily need to have distributed across the you know, they can have whoever they're dealing with can be a node in their blockchain, and they don't necessarily have to have the football field of GPU miners in China like working with them to like mine their and process their transactions. They can, you know, have their own farm. And that's what scares me about crypto in general and people just dumping money into these coins, is that there's no guarantee that anybody is going to use this stuff in the mainstream.
So what is your view on current cryptocurrency exchange, going like from Ripple to Bitcoin? I mean, what is your view on like moving money in between each?
Well, there's nothing necessarily like wrong with it. It's just so difficult right now because if you want to buy Ripple, you have a couple choices. There's a exchange called Binance where you can actually use US dollars to buy Ripple. Or you could use something like Coinbase where you buy Ethereum or you buy Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, or what's the other one they have? Dang it, I can't even remember. It was the other Bitcoin fork, a Litecoin. You can buy one of those and then send it to one of these other exchanges in like Acapulco or Abu Dhabi or wherever it is that isn't in America. And then you can buy your Ripple, wait for it to increase or decrease, convert it back into Litecoin, send it back to Coinbase, and then sell it, which is what I was doing when I was really big into Bitcoin. And I actually made quite a bit of money, but it's just right now it's just too complicated. And therein lies the problem with crypto. The big appeal of cryptocurrency is that it's unregulated, is that it's decentralized, and somewhat anonymous. Most of them aren't really anonymous. But the thing is, in order for it to hit mainstream and for people to be using it, even the U.S. has passed laws where you have to report like your crypto earnings. Yeah. So if you buy Bitcoin, if you bought Bitcoin at $1 and now it's thousands of dollars, you technically any profits over $10,000 you have to report. So Indeed. That brings that regulation into it, and that brings like that. If they fully like tomorrow, if they fully regulate, like if the U.S. approved Bitcoin and it was fully regulated, that would just kill the appeal of it to most of the people who are like really big on it. I mean, you can't really have it both ways. Either it's decentralized and unregulated, or it is. And if it's not, that whole, you know, there's a lot of problems with that.
It's the Wild West. Yeah.
Not only is it the Wild West, it could be used for money laundering.
Yeah.
You know, so you have some drug kingpin in California who has like thousands of dollars that he can't do anything with. He throws it in an exchange somewhere or puts it in a foreign bank account, you know, buys Tether, which is the US dollar equivalent analog in crypto. It's basically backed by each US dollar, they say. And then use that to buy Bitcoin, transfer it into his Coinbase account, and then sell it. I mean,
yeah,
that's the problem with crypto right now is that it's with it being unregulated. There's so many opportunities for illegal activity, and that's actually a valid concern. A lot of people write that off, but it's actually a really valid concern, and I just don't know where we're gonna go. I don't know if we can get to that place where it's all the benefit of the crypto meets it being something that can be used, you know, for mostly legal purposes. Yeah. And I don't know. That's why I pulled all my money out of it, because it's just like I don't I don't really know where this is going anymore.
And just to end it off, like I wonder in the end, is it like it reminds me of this guy at my job who, was gung ho about cutting the cord and like, I'm gonna buy a Roku, I'm gonna do all this to cut the cord. He had it for like a week and said it was just easier with cable. And I'm wondering, are we headed in that direction? Is it just going to become so difficult and so cumbersome that, I just want to use dollar bills. It's just easy. Yeah. It works.
Which is the reason why Spotify and even Apple Music and what's the other one? There's like one or two more, but
the Jay-Z one, I can never remember the name.
Tidal and Google Music, like that's why those services are so popular. Is that with something like that, you can go out of your way to find each release that you want and download it and tag it and upload it into your iTunes and then upload it to your phone or your whatever. Or you could just pay somebody $7 a month.
Yeah.
And not have to do any work. It's more convenient. It's less convenient to pirate now. And people, when it gets down to it, people are just lazy. I'm lazy. I don't want to work any more than I have to. So
it looks like it's going to be a little harder to pirate tickets in the future, or give away tickets, or what's going on with this story?
Well, it's funny because scalpers have gotten so bad, and like the secondary ticket market has gotten so ridiculous now that a lot of people who sell shows, I think Jack White is actually doing this with his new tour. He just came through Kansas City. Basically, if you buy a ticket, when you don't actually get a ticket, you get, you have to it's basically will call where you have to show them the debit card you used to buy the ticket. They hand you your tickets and then you go in. So they've been trying to find ways to cut out scalpers for ever. And that's just kind of one of the measures they're taking it. But Ticketmaster looks like they're taking it another step farther. So imagine walking into a concert venue without waiting in line for your ticket to be scanned, because the venue automatically scans and identifies you by your face. And
nice.
That's apparently what Live Nation, which is one of the biggest promoters in the United States, and just to not to get too far off, but to just show you how big Live Nation is, they've signed people to 360 deals. Like if you're a new artist, so back in the 90s, you got signed to a recording deal, and they pay for your album, and your album sold, and they took most of it, and that was kind of it, and you could kind of make money from touring. Whereas now they sign artists and they take a cut of your ticket sales, and they take a cut of your merchandising, and they take a cut of your album.
That's
and
much.
Yeah, and they actually sign people to deals, touring deals. Live Nation, they do that a lot now. So they have a lot of skin in this game. And basically, and we're even seeing this with the GPU market. It's like the new NVIDIA has a new batch of GPUs, and then all the miners buy them, or the scalpers buy them and put them on eBay for 3 times the price. And they're basically just trying to cut that out to get the tickets into the hands of the people who actually want to see the show. So that's kind of where this is going. And I really think it's awesome, honestly, I just don't know if I want Ticketmaster to have my face on file.
Yeah, and that's the thing. In a world where we're worried about Facebook taking all our information, are we really going to trust Ticketmaster with? I guess your face is anybody can get it. That's public knowledge, I guess.
That's true.
So I don't know. I just think facial recognition is going to become even more prevalent as time goes on. And have you heard about the thing where they don't dox you, but they publicly shame you in China if you jaywalk? Have you heard of that?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, so you need to look it up. So they have facial recognition on their street corners, and if you jaywalk, they will facially recognize you and put you up on a billboard with all your information and shaming.
Oh man, so it's like the bad checklist in the local paper.
Basically, yeah.
That really sucks.
Yeah.
But that's where we're going. But that's scary. I wonder if they're going to use Apple's tech to their face unlock technology to their facial recognition, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what they call it. It's like you unlock your phone with your face ID. That's what they call it. Sorry, but I wonder if they're going to partner with Apple or whoever Apple used to do that. Be interesting, I guess.
Yeah. And moving right along, I guess some more smartphone-esque news. Is this your favorite wireless charger? So The Verge reports our favorite wireless charger is at the lowest price ever on Amazon right now. This seems to be a RAV power?
Yeah, it's a
charging pad.
Yes, a fast charging, quick charging wireless charging pad. And basically, it's normally on sale for like $40, I believe. And Verge really likes it. And it's affordable, quick charging, and apparently they've got some kind of deal with Amazon or with RAV Power where you can use the code Verge034 and get it for $27.99.
Oh, nice.
And this may be one of the things we can review because it's semi-affordable, and I have a wireless charger right now, but it's not a fast one, so I'd be interested to check this out.
Yeah, that's almost a no-go, right?
Well, it's really not that bad because, what I do is I don't even charge my phone at home anymore. I have it sitting on my desk at work. And basically while I'm working, it just sits there on my desk. And when I bring it home, it's fully charged. And basically the iPhone 10 can last like 2 days. So
oh, wow.
I bring it home and I use it and it's fine. And if I need to charge it, I have a charger here. But I normally don't even use it.
So let me ask you, is it the kind where you have to put it on there just right or it doesn't work? Because this is a guy at my job, he always complains about his phone is not charged the next day. It's because he didn't put it on the charger just right to get a connection.
Well, it's really not that bad because normally when I set it down there, like when you put it on there, or the iPhone in general, when you plug it up to a charger, it does like a little chime. It's like doop, and it's charging. So I put it on there, and I'll look to see if it's actually charging before I go on about my business. So I've never really had that problem. I've never had to like move it around for it to charge. So it's pretty good, I guess. I've never really had that problem.
Cool.
But yeah, that's not really in news. It was just I thought it was a really cool deal if you're looking for a wireless charger.
Hot deals.
Techpedition. You can find them cheaper than $28, but they won't, probably 9 times out of 10 they won't be a fast charger.
Yeah. So I guess we also have some more Apple news.
Yeah, speaking of Apple, with the whole Facebook kerfuffle, I rarely get a chance to use that word, kerfuffle. With that whole thing going down, it looks like Apple's doubling down on their user security, and there's definitely some some financial incentive to do so, and some brownie points to do so. But they're reportedly removing apps from the App Store that share your location data with third parties, which the fact that they have to even do this makes me a little worried. Why are they letting people share location data with third parties to begin with?
Yeah. Huh.
But yeah, that's a little scary, actually.
So, I know the Apple Store is a little more tightly wound than the Android equivalent, but don't they do checks already? I don't really use Apple devices. Don't they do a lot of checks already to see what you're sharing and what type of information you're letting loose when you log into an app?
Yeah, they keep pretty tight control over their store, which is another reason why I'm surprised that this is even happening. The only thing I can think of is that they didn't care, and now they care because of all the backlash that Facebook has gotten. And the whole deposition, or was it a deposition, or did he just testify? Yeah, he didn't get deposed.
He just testified on the Hill.
Yeah, with that whole thing, it's kind of like when EA got all this flack for the microtransactions in Battlefront 2.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like, look at us, we're not like that. We're a company for the people or something. I don't know, but I just thought it was interesting that they're definitely letting people know that they're trying to protect our data from other people.
Oh,
like Cambridge Analytica.
Apple is all about security. We're going to put you in a nice little place, pretty trees. You're not going to have any problems. This is Apple. This is a beautiful world.
Oh, is it? You firing shots?
Hey, it just works, right? I mean, I'm not exaggerating here. This is their own line.
Firing shots like Donald Glover.
Oh man! Oh, too soon, man. Too soon. Yeah, I'm gonna jump down to a story at the end of our list because since we're talking about security and stuff,
yeah,
there was a serious vulnerability found in 7-Zip. Now, I've been using 7-Zip forever. Of course, 7-Zip is an open source archiving program, which that's pretty much one of the first 5 programs I installed with a fresh install of Windows. So, let me dig into this a little bit. Basically, there was an exploit. Let me see if I can get a little bit more detail for you real quick. So, well, first of all, I'll just say they have patched it. They have patched the vulnerability, but they said, let me see if I can dig in and get the information. Yeah, the security flaw is present in all versions of 7-Zip prior to 18.05. The version just released in April was updated and patched. So,
excuse me while I download the newest version of 7-Zip.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the specifics on the actual flaw, and this article does not state what the actual flaw is.
From what I can understand, it's just something that allows arbitrary code execution. Yeah. So what I imagine that means is somebody, if you download a lot of like illegal software, and somebody can probably poison a zip file or give you an infected zip file and you unzip it, and then they can basically take over your computer.
Yeah.
Not to sound too dramatic, but to me that's the long and short of it. And this new patch that I just installed.
Yeah,
I protect now,
which I need to install as well. So yeah, it's funny that it's been in there for so long and nobody's really noticed it. But that's how most security vulnerabilities are found. They're just there forever until we actually somebody stumbles upon them.
And speaking of vulnerabilities, I didn't post a link to this. I probably should have, but the Spectre thing is not over.
Yes,
because apparently the white paper that the chip manufacturers sent to the OS developers, apparently they implemented the fixes incorrectly and your computer's still vulnerable. So there's that. Yep.
So are there any real world examples of these vulnerabilities? I mean,
I don't think there's an
actively exploited. I'm sorry.
I don't think there's an actual 0-day malware that takes advantage of this yet. It's more just conceptual at this point because it's so difficult to actually have the right sequence of events, and especially with Meltdown, like there's so many boxes that have to be checked in order for this to even work, that it's still at this point, I feel like it's still highly unlikely. I still haven't updated my BIOS to the newest version because I'm waiting for them to release the fix that doesn't really affect performance.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's always possible, but at this point, I think it's more pie in the sky, honestly. But it's still a concern.
Oh boy.
But that doesn't mean you should feel safe. But it's still a concern. What was it? Halt and Catch Fire. Was that the second season? Yeah. Or the third? You Were Not Safe. I love that show, by the way.
It's great. It's great.
Did you watch the whole thing?
I believe so. I'm trying to remember how it ends.
That last season, man.
Is that the one where she's living in a camper?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've seen it all.
The tears, man. The last couple episodes were pretty sad for me.
Oh, man.
Because he's my favorite character, man.
Maybe I didn't finish it. I need to go back and watch now. You have me worried.
Oh, my goodness. I won't tell you who my favorite character is, but, oh, man. I was so sad at the end of that show.
Oh, that's all. Gordon was your favorite character, obviously.
Why do you say that?
Because you remind me of Gordon a little bit, without the crazy egotistical part there. But so what else we have here in the news docket, sir?
Okay, I'm done with my Gatorade. Let's see.
I'll take another one.
Yeah, take a stab at it.
So we had Microsoft build this was it last week? This week, Microsoft Build, and of course we know that the Microsoft Store on Windows 10 and Windows Phone, if you still have Windows Phone, it's pretty much a joke. It's a joke. So they're doing things like they're doing things like they have released Windows on ARM. You can run Windows on an ARM processor, and they've released PCs for that. And you can also compile your 64-bit code over to ARM as well with some of the updates they released in Build. But the thing I really want to talk about is the revenue share with the apps in the store. So they are doing anything they can to get people to create apps for Microsoft. Now, this does not apply to games. It applies to non-gaming applications. But you can, if you lead a user from a link on your website in to buy an application, you can get as much as 95% of the revenue from that purchase, which is freaking huge. It's freaking huge.
That is pretty huge.
Bad thing is, it's the Microsoft Store.
Yeah, there is that.
And the apps just aren't taking off. Now, what I think it can lead to is people putting their normal, full-fledged desktop apps, just building them as Windows store apps and putting them in the store. Maybe Adobe or a bigger company would, feel a little more comfortable putting their app in the store if they can get 95% of the profits. Whereas, on Apple and the other platforms, it's 70, 65 in some cases.
Well, see, here's the whole thing that bothers me about this. Yes, I can put an application, non-gaming application, on the Microsoft Store and get 95% of the profits from a link on my website. Or I could just put it on my website and get 100% of the profits.
Can't really argue with that.
I mean, for the longest time, I felt like this is just a Trojan horse thing where they're going to get all these apps on their store, and then a year or two from now, they're going to be like, okay, Windows Phone is back, and all these apps that are in our store work on the phone or something. But I still don't understand why there's a Windows Store. Like, I get that Apple has successfully done this on the Mac.
So do you understand why there's a Mac store?
Not to fire shots, but Apple has successfully done this. Like,
well, tell me why do they need one there then if they don't need one on Windows?
Well, one reason I can understand them doing it on the Mac is because what?
No, I know you probably going to say because of the success of iOS, probably. But go ahead.
Well, I wasn't even going to bring up the success of iOS, but that's also a good point.
Oh, shut up.
But what I was going to say is that the Mac is not necessarily as mainstream a platform as Windows. So there are a lot of applications on the Mac that people don't know about. So it makes sense on the Mac, since the software library isn't that large, to pull everything in one place. Like on your phone, there's lots of useful applications on your phone that you just don't know about. So you go to the store and you just search for, like pie recipes or something, and you get like an app that's like all the pie recipes. But on the Mac, it makes sense to do that. But on Windows, there's so much software, and I guess in some ways it makes sense. But I feel like this is just a money grab for Microsoft, where they want to take more of people's profits from their software. Like, that's what it feels like to me.
I'm going to give you another spin on it, and I'm going to take the Apple spin with this, actually. We want to put you in a safe, nurturing environment to find apps that are not violated with Trojan horses and all these other viruses, and we're going to put you here, and you're going to love it, and it's going to be a safe, beautiful place where your computer doesn't get a virus. I think that's what they're going for. They want you to live in that wonderful Apple world, or where you don't, you're not afraid of what you download.
Or with UWP, they want a lot of apps for their ARM version of Windows. Here they are, all right here, and they work. So buy Windows 10S. It already has all the apps.
Hey, I can't argue with that. Death to Steam. That's really what they're trying to do.
Oh,
which is never happened. So, but
that's a great point.
We drove this one in the ground.
But it's still interesting to think about, like, why they push this store so hard that they don't even need. You know, it's an interesting thing to think about. I don't know.
I mean, but okay, when you think about what they're doing with the Windows on ARM, or even trying to get into school systems, the educational sector, they want a safe environment for people to go and download apps and not have to worry about how it can affect your computer or your network, for that matter.
Oh, man.
It does have a purpose. It does have a purpose.
Yeah. I can only imagine how many Macs that Apple has sold to schools just because of the Macs don't get viruses. Are you crazy? Which is totally untrue. But but speaking of Steam, since you fired some more shots,
this is
soon, soon you will be able to stream Steam to Android, iPhone, and Apple TV.
I saw this.
Yeah, they released the email today, and I have the email, but I'm not going to pull it up. I have a Verge article here, and it says that, if I can find it, where did it go? Basically, they're releasing a beta app for Android, and then on the 21st, I believe it was, there's going to be an application that you can download and stream your PC games on your network if you have 5 gigahertz wireless, which is like wireless N or A or C. You'll be able to actually stream your Steam games onto your phone, and you'll actually be able to link a Bluetooth Steam controller, which I hate, but I guess any Bluetooth controller that you can hook up to your phone.
Yeah.
You'll be able to use that to play your PC games on your phone, which I think is pretty cool, actually.
This is smart. This is smart. They've had the technology in place to probably do this for a few years now. Steam Link has been around, and they've had those years to test it and make sure it works. And hey, why not throw a client on the phone where you can actually pull it in and play some of these games in the comfort of your home, not sending it tethered to a computer. So, yeah, it's awesome. They should have been done this. I think it's great. And, why doesn't none of the consoles do this? It's something that I think is just
actually, with the PS4, you can stream PS4 to Vita.
Yeah, the Vita. Yeah, I remember.
But that's other than that, or any Sony-made mobile device.
Yeah, you can also stream Xbox to a PC.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
So, why not?
It'd be nice if you could do it the other way around.
Yeah. PC Master Race. Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I don't get why you can't do this, because basically Microsoft, maybe it's third parties that are saying we don't want you to do this because all the Microsoft games are going to be universal anyway. So
yeah, true. Another reason to buy them from the Microsoft Store. Oh, I'm not a shield for Microsoft. I promise.
This podcast was brought to you by Microsoft.
I do not work for Microsoft now.
And Microsoft, this Surface laptop, starting from $699, a whole 4 out of 5 stars on the Microsoft Store.
Oh gosh,
the best laptop you can buy right now, according to Dan Seaford from The Verge. What?
No, it's just my Surface. Yeah, my Surface. But yeah, that's interesting. I can't wait for it. Can't wait for it, sir.
Yeah, I'll definitely be checking that out. Like, I checked out the mobile version of... Did we ever talk about the first time we played the mobile version of PUBG, we got a chicken dinner, like the first time?
That was
great. But then I found out, like, most of those people were bots.
I posted it on Facebook and I was proud of it. You telling me those weren't humans I was playing?
Yeah, apparently they fill the sessions on the phone, at least for PUBG. I think Fortnite you can play with, like, your PC and Xbox and PS4 counterparts. But yeah, PUBG gives you bots.
I'm going to have to leak that off my Facebook. Jeez, come on, Carrie. You could have warned me.
Oh, man. I deleted it off my phone. I was like, I'm so ashamed.
Oh, boy.
It's like you play that win and then you play the PC version and get destroyed.
I thought I was doing no wonder I won. It's kind of obvious now. But yeah. So I think that's about it. Anything else?
I think we got everything.
Yeah. So guys, stay tuned. We're going to try to get back on our regular cadence of doing, at least a few times a month, 2 or 3 times a month, but hopefully once a week here pretty soon. Carrie, anything that you're working on or that you're interested in, podcast related or otherwise, man, that you want to pimp real quick?
Well, I don't really have anything to pimp. I would just say that I finally have a dedicated space to do this type of stuff. So hopefully now I will be able to do stuff more often. I really want to get some kind of video thing. I know me and you've been talking about it, but I don't know if there's a timetable on that. So I won't say it's coming. It's in the works.
Yes, in the works, definitely.
But other than that, I'm looking forward to the next discussing Trek. Looking forward to being on there. But other than that, man, just happy to be back.
Cool. Yeah, and as for me, I do way too many podcasts, but you can check all of those podcasts out by going to my personal blog, iamclarence.com. So go there, get the links, and I will update it someday, I promise. All right, man. Well, I guess that's it.
This is America.
Very,
very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition. Very, very quick. Techpedition.
I can't beat that. I just smells burnt and dusty.
Hey guys, don't miss an episode of the Techpedition Podcast. For more information, go to techpedition.com/subscribe. TECHPEDITION.com.